Scorpio sun, Gemini ascendant, Aries moon. Wow. Oof. I would not want to be your wife. That is wild. Ooh, your emotional state. That is wild. That was a wild combination. I've never heard that one. Obsession with sex, death, and lies. That's a wild, like you need a strong woman. Strong, like she can put up with your shit, because that's a wild one. That's probably the most wild dynamic I've heard. Because a lot of guys do want to do oral, or even if say they don't, but they want to try it. Some guys just love oral, depending on their like sign and all that. Other guys maybe don't, but they'd want to try it because they want her to get more wet, so she has an opportunity to climax and they can have sex longer. It's fine. It's a good. But
what signs like oral? Sorry.
I'll tell you.
Flo, do you know what a yoni is, Flo?
I'm from context. I'm gathering that it's a vagina.
Yes.
There we go.
And the priest, the signs that typically will like oral are water signs.
Are you trying to say cancers?
Cancer is going to be the most, how do I say this? In our perspective, we use astrology to help pair better for more functional, passionate relationships. We're not like, oh, you're going to have oatmeal today and go to a Pilates class. Like that's not the astrology we do. We do Vedic, which is clearly more about compatibility and certain characteristics and traits that typically people in these signs have. It's not a perfect rule, but it's very close. And all my clients on their intake, we do their signs, we do their Myers-Briggs personality, we do their love languages, and we do my sexual archetype quiz, which tells you what type of lover you are. I'm very proud of that. And so it just helps to get a little bit of like for me to understand who they are and what's a good pairing for them, right? But mostly for Cancer, that is going to be the most, not for men, but for women, it's the most feminine sign. Sorry, Taurus is the most feminine, then Virgo, then Cancer, because it's more emotional, it's more watery. And Cancer men typically tend to be more deeply connected to their emotions more than any other sign, probably.
Do you focus on rising or rising or sun?
All of it. All of it. So okay. Your rising is typically more of how you present yourself to the world.
Are you an ESTJ?
I am not, but I'm close. No. Interesting. You would think that. The thinker and perceiver, no. I compose myself for these shows, and I appear to be very much so in my masculine. Otherwise, I'll be here, there, and everywhere because I'm highly feminine. But I'm an ENFP. I'm Oprah. Like I'm Oprah sign. I'm a energy healer and master.
Okay.
You know,
I can actually see that.
Yeah. But interesting that you saw that. That's yeah.
Flo, what are you? That for a good minute now, haven't you, Flo?
Yeah, I'm an ESTP.
What was that again? That's like
I'm an ESTP, and
I was like the same as you, but
Scorpio
like one
sun, Aries moon, Gemini ascendant, and Vedic.
Yeah. And Vedic, yeah, I only study Vedic as well, so I don't know traditional. So you're you said what?
Gemini ascendant, Scorpio sun, Aries moon.
Okay, so Scorpio sun, Gemini ascendant, Aries moon. Wow, I would not. What? Because you're Scorpio sun, you're a water sign, and then the Gemini ascendant. Oof, I would not want to be your wife. That is wild. Because one day you're like, I want to play, and the next day you're like, let's fucking get done. Like, because the Gemini is like the child and the adult. It's the total ends of the astrology. It's the birth, the little newborn, and it's the old wise sage, kind of like the hat. So then you said the Aries moon. Ooh, your emotional state. That is wild. That's
what about my emotional state?
Well, Aries are know-it-alls. They think that they know it all. You know, they're the ram. And most of the time they know most things, but they don't know everything. You guys are always right, or you have to be. Your Aries tend to be very kind of dismissive, not because they're trying to be mean. It's just like their way is the right way, and it's what's important to them. And if that's not you, they don't really care. Aries are no nonsense. There's no fluff. There's no, oh, how are you, honey? It's just like, let's go. And the Aries is a very strong dynamic. Most women can't hang with an Aries unless they also have a fire or air sign that kind of like, you'd be really bad, I think, with like a water sign. It would not be good. Or an earth sign who's really grounded and not up here, where Aries is like, I'm fine the shit. I know what I'm doing. I don't need help. I don't need authority. I'm doing me. That's kind of the vibe. That was a wild combination. I've never heard that one.
What about that combination is wild? I don't know a lot about astrology.
Well, just what I just said. I mean, you're Scorpio. Scorpio is known as kind of the black sheep, if you will, because it's this obsession with sex, death, and lies, even though that is taken out of context. But that is what you're known for. And Scorpios hide shit and this and that and the other. And then that's just your sun. So then you have your ascendant, which is Gemini. Geminis are also not easy to get along with because
both
they're
Mars.
Always,
both Mars.
Your Mars.
They're both Mars. Both of those two planets are in Mars.
Oh, yes, correct. And Geminis are, they kind of are always in a dichotomy. It's always a juxtaposition. They need their time alone a lot. They retreat and then they just won't kind of fucking call you because they don't want to. So it can be confusing in relationships. And then an Aries is just the know-it-all. I'm always right and kind of don't with me in my flow. So that's a wild, like you need a strong woman who can really not strong like competitive, but strong like she can put up with your shit, because that's a wild one. That's probably the most wild dynamic I've heard.
You're not
What
right.
about the opposite end of that? What about, I can't believe you said that Taurus is feminine, like with the sign of the bull.
Did it hurt your Taurus feelings?
No, let me take that. Okay. So Taurus is it's the feminine sign for women, right? For women. Yes, it is the bull, but it's the earth. When you think of the earth, what do you think of? Like grounding, think fertility, right? Earth is like where everything comes and is birthed, gives life, right? Without the earth, there's no nothing. So the Taurus is an earth sign, but it is very much so most Taurus women are very shapely, not BBL shapely, not fake shapely, real shapely. They typically have bigger hips. Why? Because that's connected
to birthing hips,
the fertility, and a lot of so it's Taurus 1, it's Virgo number 2, because Virgo's obviously what? The virgin, the mother, the feminine.
Is that why I'm Taurus, but I've always like Virgos and Leos is what I've landed on most.
Taurus. So yes, Taurus. Okay, so Taurus and Virgo is the master relationship sign together. It's the polar opposite, so they're very good together. Like Taurus. Okay, so for instance, this with you, my sign is a Virgo, my sun, even though I'm perceived as a Leo, which is my ascendant, which makes more sense, right? But my sun is a Taurus, and we are like this. Like we have codependency issues 1000%. But we are
crazy.
That's a surprise.
The opposite is go ahead.
What is it, Chairman?
Well, I said it's a surprise that you have codependency issues.
I'm being a little facetious, but we're very fucking close.
Yeah. My girlfriend is a triple water sign.
Okay. What is she?
Pisces, Scorpio, Pisces sun, Scorpio moon, Scorpio ascendant.
Pisces, Scorpio. That's good for you, actually. That's really good.
Didn't you just say that a water sign would be hard?
Well, here's why. Because you said Pisces, because the Scorpio, though, another Scorpio. Mm-hmm. Scorpio is not the same as like a Cancer, right? A Cancer, she would fall apart on you emotionally. A Scorpio, she says, I see your crazy dark sex magic, and I'm matching it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Janelle, how many times has somebody told you that astrology is ridiculous and that it's not real?
Lots of times, but I do my first intake with my session with my clients, and then I say, do your stuff. They bring it back to me, and then I just tell them about their relationships, how they are in business, how they are in love, and they're like, that makes sense. And I'm talking about the most logical men who have good jobs, who make good money, and they're like, yep, that's right. And they might say, oh yeah, not always, but they'll always tell me. And so I just say, you know.
Do you think that they buy your course and then feed into that because you're an attractive woman and it has nothing to do with the astrology?
It's not my course, because my courses, I just started putting those out there. Actually, they're buying like one-on-one sessions with me virtually and in person. I think I would be lying to say if it doesn't help that I'm mildly attractive. But I think that they see my stuff online. They read my book. It fucking makes sense. And I think they also want to, here's what works for me. I am Virgo, so I'm very nurturing. I have a very feminine style, even though I'm very vertical in when I'm coaching, right? I don't waver. I'm very professional. I have tops up to here. I'm not playing that funny business. It's very much so the deal, right? But I think that they kind of are drawn to me because of my feminine energy. And so if someone's going to tell them you're fucking around, you need to leave your wife because she's cheating on you and you need to get over her, they maybe kind of want to hear it from someone who has like a feminine nurturing vibe versus some therapist who's like, yeah, it's probably time that you leave the wife because she's fucked some other guy for 5 years. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Oof, I would not want to be your wife. That's a wild, like, you need a strong woman. That is wild.